It's Robert Earl out here at the Eco Ranch in far west Texas. And in between all the work I'm trying to do on the chicken coop, we have another major project that's come up. You know, whenever you're trying to have a farm or keep animals, it's just one thing after another. And our lovely, highly trained Spanish Mustang cutting horse, Nemo, has decided that his favorite toy in the world is his water buckets. So, we have gone through 3 water buckets. We started with this, which is excellent if you're on a well or you have city water, and I hear the wind is coming up, so I'm going to try to talk over it. Hangs on a fence, attaches to your water hose, and it works perfectly. You've got a float in it. Well, Nemo likes to get his head in there, and he splashes all the water out, so it's constantly going. You probably wouldn't notice it too badly if you were on a well or on city water. But when you're on water like I am, you notice it and you miss it. So, he couldn't have this anymore because it was running constantly, running our water out. So we went to this. I think you can see it, at least I could through the viewfinder. This is an old bucket that a tree came in. Well, Nemo likes it so much, he kicks it. He picks it up, he tosses it, and he's broken it. See that flap? Got it broken all over the place. So I don't know what to do, didn't know what to do. So, I got Nemo another bucket. Only this bucket is huge. This is it's a livestock bucket. I had to pour a form to set it on, so this is a slab of concrete that's still curing to set it on. And what we're going to do today is we're going to set that on here. We're going to brick all the way, rock all the way around it so that he can't get his face in there. Now, anybody that's got horses is out there saying, oh yeah, he's going to kick at it and knock the rocks down. I expect he's going to do that. But I'm going to try anyway and see what happens. So, you get to follow me through the steps a little at a time as I get this thing up. Hopefully I'll be able to rock it all in today, but how much masonry I can do depends on how quickly it sets up. And we'll talk about that as I go. So, hang in there, here we go. All right, well, I'm here with Nemo's new water trough. It's, I believe it's 30 gallon. This is a economy water trough. What that means is I paid about half for it what I would have paid for one that had the plumbing in it already. That's all. So I have to put the plumbing in and I have to pick my spot, which is a good reason for buying one without the plumbing, the fitting rather. So I'm going to drill down here pretty low. Actually, I'll do it this way. I'm going to drill down here fairly low before the curve so that I can actually install my fitting you know, on the flat surface. So here we go. Now in the area we live in, and I might have mentioned this before, but it's worth saying again. In this area, this is Brewster County, Texas. Brewster County, Texas is bigger than Connecticut and Rhode Island combined. It's a huge, huge county. There's only about, now somebody might correct me on this, but there's only about 8,000 people that live in the entire county, and the 2 biggest cities are Alpine and Marfa. And Alpine being the biggest at 5,700 people. We don't have a lot of choice of stuff when we go to buy things, so we pretty much have to take what they have to offer. And typically when you go somewhere, the hardware store or the feed store or the grocery store, if you want something they don't have, they go, well, they don't use that. They meaning everybody else. Well, you know, you can do one of 2 things. You can get trained or you can buy the stuff you want online. In this case, they didn't have any bulkhead fittings, so I don't even know what this is. To me, it looks like an electrical fitting. But anyway, that's what we're going to put through here. I had to buy 2 of them because they only come with 1 washer. So I bought 2. Still, for $4 it was cheaper. So, cheaper than buying one of these with fittings. So you put that through, put the washer on, put this funny looking nut on, and of course I'm doing it backwards. You can tell I'm not very slick at this stuff when I make stupid mistakes like that. Anyway, screw this in. Put the washer and the funky fitting on. Tighten it down. Now what I have is 1-inch PVC fitting here, and I'll show you when I'm completed what I've done here. It's easier than telling you now. Okay, well, the plan was to plumb this and end it in, since I had this extra 3/4 inch faucet here, I was going to end it in the 3/4 inch faucet, so I'd have to reduce the 1 inch to 3/4. That way Debbie could just turn this on, drain it, pick out the glarf that Captain Nemo puts in, close it back up. Got to plumb it out the bottom, because if you know anything about horses, if it comes out the front, he's going to put his paw on it and poke at it, and he'll break it off. So it's going to come out the back and then come out to the side. So I can't put the fitting on, and you would think, oh my goodness, he can't use the horse water when he puts it in. Not so. What I do is take an elbow and a piece of pipe that when I put it on will extend up even or above the level of the water that's going to be in the tank. So it'll hold the water in the tank until we're ready, and if for some need, let me put it over here. I know you can't see me. There. You see how that's above the level of the tank here? We'll be able to fill it with water, and then if we need to drain it before I get the fittings, which will be 3 or 4 days, I just take this off and it'll drain out. Now I was talking about the county we live in. I didn't finish. I get sidetracked. That's one of those old man pleasures, I guess. I said they didn't have the things we want, and they oftentimes don't. We have to either make do, or like I'm doing in this case, I have to wait until I can get what I need. But imagine this. If you're watching this and you're on the East Coast, or really almost anywhere, I said that this county is the size of Connecticut and Rhode Island combined. So imagine, and we are in the far southern end of the county. So imagine this, you need a simple fitting, like this one, about 79 cents, maybe less at Home Depot, but with the Home Depot's up in Midland. But imagine this, imagine that you live in Boston, or New York, let's say New York City. Imagine this, you live in New York City and you need a simple little 79-cent fitting. So you jump in your car and you drive all the way to Cape Cod to buy the fitting, and then home again. And that's kind of sort of what we have to do around here when we need something. So we either make do, reuse, or just wait. In this case, we're going to just wait. So anyway, let's get on to installing this thing. Well, the tank is full of water. I've got some rocks here. I may need more. You'll notice I've got great big rocks separated from small rocks. That's because this base here is a little bit wide, and I can use the space to fill in, because this is going to be completely encased with mortar to keep him from moving it. Now, I don't know if that's going to work or not, but we're going to try. So at any rate, the big rocks go on the bottom, then the smaller ones come up here. I want to go over the lip so he can't get his teeth on the lip, just over the lip. And that's all. So we'll get started mixing some mortar, and I'm going to discuss a little bit how I set the mortar on things and how you build a wall, which is essentially what I'm doing here, how you build a wall with round rocks. Talk about that in a minute. Okay guys, I'm gonna eat him. I got my mortar all mixed up. I'm ready to start on this, but I just thought there was probably something you'd like to know. Have you ever laid awake nights wondering, how do you build a stone wall? How do they do it? I know I have. So I thought I'd show you. I know 2 ways to build a stone wall, and of course one is really, well, 3 ways. Okay, one is just taking a big old area this wide and piling it full of stones. It's going to get a little narrower. You've built a pyramid, essentially. Pyramid's the easiest way of building anything. That's how come the ancients built in pyramids. It was easy, and they didn't have the technology, despite what the ancient alien theorists say. They didn't have the technology. So that's one way of building a wall. A rock wall is like that. Another way is a no-brainer. You just take bricks or you take blocks and mortar them all together. They're all the same size. You can go straight up. But when you're dealing with stuff like these rocks, put that one aside for a second, that are all different sizes, how do you get them on top of each other without that happening? Well, you don't build a stone wall. You build two stone walls. You build them close together, sometimes even closer like that. And it's very similar to the way I build with the bottles. You know, I put a gap in the bottles depending on how thick I want the wall. But you're going to build your stone wall this way. Then you're going to fill the middle. Just fill it up with rocks, sand, garbage, gravel, anything, until you get to the point where now, well, let's use this one. You've got the middle built up, so now you've got a level area across. You can take the next rock, which ordinarily, you know, might fall or roll or something. It's setting on what you've just built up. Put your mortar in between, set your next rock up. Do the same thing, go up, 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 that way. So you're not building one wall, you're building two. Now, you've all seen also some of these beautiful rock homes, and they are beautiful with the nicely neat split faces. Typically, when you're building a rock wall, you're going to want what I call face rocks, a rock that has a face that you can turn out. That's a face. That's not a face. Now, in this wall here, we're not concerned about the face. In fact, there's some walls that and so at some point I might show you what I did on the inside of our dog's building, the hearth and the wall that I built, where I actually used rocks like this. But it was the same thing. Now here, what we're going to do here, if I can keep my balance, is I'm going to set the first rock on the outside. Then I'm filling in here. I'm going to fill this in with gravel and mortar, probably more mortar than anything. Then set the second rock, the third rock, and then get up, just like I said, above the lip. So I'm going to edit out the slow-moving parts, and I'll let you watch me. Now, since I'm building on top of a piece of a level piece of concrete, I don't need a whole lot of thickness of mortar. Just really that half-inch. Now I've used an inch, but roughly that half-inch, just so it bonds to the rock. I'm going to use this gigantic rock here, and even though it's a horse waterer, I want to find the pretty side and face that pretty side out. Oh. Just like that. Okay, now here we are with a quandary almost. You've got a corner, and what are you going to do with the corner? Well, you really want to start building from the corner when possible. I just didn't think this big rock would fit in the corner. So I'm going to take this one here, and I like that face just like that. Put it there. Okay, here's something I wanted to show you. We have the corner, and the corner doesn't look quite full here. But I found this little piece of rock that seems to fit in there okay. Now, it's not going to look real good right now, but when we get to the pointing, and pointing is where we press the mortar into the seams, when we get to the pointing, that's where I'll go ahead and make it look attractive. But for right now, I'm just putting that little piece of rock there, and you notice I put mortar on the back of the rock before I stuck it there. In the masonry business, they call that buttering. So we buttered this, stuck it on, and I had it stuck until I jacked with it. There we go. Now, if it still wants to fall, one trick you can use is you can take a little board, a stick, almost anything, just to prop it up. Which wouldn't be a bad idea in this case, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. But I did want to show you, now I have a little better formed corner. Well, the day I'm doing this is the 4th of July, 2015. And of course a rainstorm came through, so I wasn't able to do what I thought I was going to do, which was to demonstrate to you how I point the rocks and the bricks and the bottles and everything. But I will show you the finished product. I have completely finished the horse waterer, and I hope you like it, and I'll tell you a little more about it, but let me show it to you right now. Well, here is Nemo's new water trough. Now, hopefully the rock around the trough is going to keep him out of it. This is the side you'll see as you approach, this side, rather, is the side you'll see when you approach the stable from the gate. This is the long side. And then, of course, the back side's over here. Now, in the pointing, I'm going to do my best here to show you. In the pointing, when I say pointing, you just simply take and you're going to force the mortar into all the cracks and crevices, and of course that makes for a better seal, and then also it makes for a better appearance. You notice how those rocks pop now. And they didn't when I was first doing it. They pop at you because I've got them exposed around the mortar, anywhere from, gosh, 1.5 inches to a minimum of a 1/4 inch. And there's a view of the two corners. Now the top, I didn't put any kind of a lip around the top because, quite honestly, I don't know how King Nemo is going to act about this thing. So if I had taken a lot of time and leveled it and put some pretty rocks around it, the top, he might very well have knocked him out. So we're going to leave it like it is right now. And also, the way it is right now, if there's a problem, I can always pop the tank there out and replace it. So let's get a look at Nemo, who is over there just pretending that he's not interested in what I'm doing when actually he'd like to be right here looking at us. So that's Nemo. And that's his water trough. The whole job took 1 day for me to do, and it cost me $10. Well, not counting, of course, the let's see, about the $42 that the tank cost. But in terms of boxing it in there, cost me $10. That was the cost of 1 bag of Portland, which is what it took. Not too bad. So, and let me turn this around so I can tell you what you know I'm going to say. Hey, it's Robert Earl here at the Eco Ranch. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.